This is an interesting area. The guides us where they're, right? So 55% of people that are buying in our area, of all the buyers reported in our area, paid all cash for their purchase and their property. What does that tell you about the area? Rich, retired, lots of money, right? Okay, so is that an incredible stat to know, yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. How many people had no clue that a third of the people that bought in our area paid all cash? Right? We know it's lifestyle oriented, but there is more money than you know in this particular area, in this area. And so you have to understand what's driving them and what's driving their finances and what's driving their purchases. Good information to know, yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. So those are the buyer types. Those are the sub areas that they're looking at, their demographics, their properties, the sales types and that. Now what I want to do is that was the macro. Everybody know, anybody do economics? Macro, micro, okay? So we looked at the macro. Now I want to look at the micro, meaning your business, you and your business, okay? So how many people, be honest, have ever sat down and really investigated and really looked at their business like we just looked at listing sales and prices and demographics and financing options? How many people have ever done that? Okay? How many people feel that it would be incredibly beneficial if they took the time to spend a few hours looking at what's happening in your own business and your historical data in that? Make sense? Okay? So just like we did with that, I want to eliminate your guessing. I want to eliminate you aiming for nothing and hitting it with amazing accuracy. I want you to leave here with knowing and understanding what's happening on a macro level and what's happening on a micro level in your business. Do you agree that it would be a lot more advantageous and profitable and more enjoyable if you had that kind of plan going into next year, yes or no? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So the first thing I do is I look at my business and my database. Is there a trend? Is there a trend? Is there a type of buyer, a type of seller? Is there a person that a certain area lives in there that you've done more business with? Is there a job or a profession that they've done that you tend to work with in that? Has anybody ever looked at what their niche is and where they tend to focus? A lot of people say, oh, I'm a first-time buyer, but they've never sold a first-time home buyer in their life, ever in their business, but they call themselves a first-time home buyer. You're chuckling because it's true. A lot of people will say, well, I'm the condo expert, and they haven't sold a condo in their business either. Right? So I look at that and say, take the time and look at your actual demographic and look and see if there's a trend or a type or a place or an income or a status or a type of person that you have within your business, okay? And see if there's a trend in a person that you tend to fare towards more than the others, okay? The other thing is that I want you to understand, what are the 3 top neighborhoods with all the listings and all the sales? What are they this last year? Anybody know? 3 top neighborhoods. Okay, I'll just do this. 3 top neighborhoods for move-ups in our area this last year. I know the answer is. Anybody know what it is? Upper Mission, Lower Mission, and Lakeview Heights. 1, 2, and 3, okay? Do you need to know that information? Yes. You need to know that kind of information. If you don't know that information, the top 3 affordable neighborhoods for is our second category. What's the top 3 affordable areas? Kelowna North, right? Glenmore, right? And Glen Rosa, right? So you got to know that. Why do you need to know where that area is? What's the top 3 most affordable areas in Oliver?
Trade Winds Mobile Home Park.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That's great. Yeah.
The acre lots.
Yeah. And so is there lots of sales and listings in those places, in those areas? Okay, but enough. Yeah, but enough though, right? And would that information be valuable for you to understand where they're, you look at it, do you know what type of hook to use when you fish? Does it help? Do you need to know where the fish are biting? Does it help? Absolutely. You need to know where the fishing holes are. You need to know what type of hook to use. Do you need to know what depth to go at? When you're fishing for salmon, is it important to have a good idea where the salmon are and what depth they are? Yeah, absolutely. I use that analogy all the time. Okay, so next thing is you need to know what the 3 top buyer types are. What are your 3 top buyer types? Who are you working with on a buyer side of things? So let's go and look at your price now. So let's focus on your price. I want you to go away today, and if you don't know this, I want you to know what your average price is. How do you tally up what your average price is, please? What's the difference between, I want to do, this is math here, I'm sorry, it's early in the morning, I get that. But please tell me what the difference in the calculation of a median price is, your median price, and an average price. Does anybody know what the difference is? Go ahead, Fran.
You take the higher and the lower end ones, you take them out of the equation, and then you divide it, the middle ones.
Okay, so let's start with median. How do we calculate median, please?
Line them all up and take the midpoint.
Exactly. You just lay them all out. So you write them all out, and then you just go right in the middle. That's your median. Does that make sense? What's the difference now, Michael, for average?
You add them all up and divide by the number.
Correct. So you add them all up. So if you had 27 deals, you add up all your purchases and that, and you divide by 27, and that gives you your average price. Okay? Write that down if you don't know it and you forget it, so that you can figure out what your median price is and what your average price is. And then the next thing is that you need to know how your median and average price compares to what? The local. How does it compare to the local board? So what's my median price, what's my average price, and how does that compare to the local board average price and median price? Okay? Now, a question for you now, the next question, write this down. Is your median and average price rising, falling, or is it flat? Is your median average price of what you're selling, is it rising, is it falling, or is it flat? And can you change and sell more expensive houses in your business and your model next year, yes or no? Yeah. What do you got to do? Just choose to. You just have to choose to. If you sold more expensive homes and raised your median average price, what would that do to your income? Raise it up. Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. I'm going to talk later today about 3 ways in which you can raise the amount of money that you make and the net profit that you can put into your business in that. And there is only 3 ways that you can do it. Real plain and simple, and talk about that. Now, the last thing I want to do is that based on your median and average price, take your median and average price and calculate what that average gross commission income is. So you know your commission formula, what you tend to do, your standard or what you expect to be paid for the services that you provide. I don't want to be anti-competitive here in my comments and that, but I need you to understand that you calculate. So you take your median and your average price. I'm going to say you take your average price and you calculate what that average price, GCI, is, the gross commission income, right, is for that specific average price that you did, okay? Now, can you build a business plan based on that gross commission income average? Yes or no? Absolutely. Now you can figure out, and until you calculated that, you technically couldn't figure out how many homes you had to sell based at that amount of commission and how many you needed to do to accomplish your goal. Would that be a fair comment? Okay. Now my next question is, how does your average gross commission income, that number there, compare to the board average? And what is the board average? So how do we calculate the board average, please? Same way I just calculated yours. So we know that it's about, what, almost $500,000, our average price in this area, and we're just going to calculate that based on the 7 and 3.5, right, or 7 and 3, and that'll figure out. So in this particular area, if you don't know, our area in here trending about almost $7,000 per deal on average, okay? So how does that $7,000 on average number, gross commission per deal, compare to what you're doing this? Could you raise your number next year, yes or no? Right? Is your number too high, or is it higher than that and you're doing well? Or is your number too low and you need to start getting it and start pushing it and getting it, trending it higher? Yes or no? Right? So yeah, you look at that and say, how am I compared to the board average versus what my average is? Okay? And that's an opportunity. It's not an opportunity for you to look at and beat yourself up. You say, hey, I can just start selling some more expensive homes. Get away from whatever that country mobile home park is, right? Stop selling all of those beautiful mobile homes and start selling some more expensive properties to raise my average commission rate up. And how is my average commission comparing to the average agent in my board's average commission? Opportunity there for me, yes or no? Okay? So that's your price point. Next one is your sales.